Good evening. How is everyone this evening? Little bit of a preface here. I tried recording my opening impressions before and messed up and didn't get any audio. First time I'm really trying to do a full-on live recording of me doing a playthrough of a game. So what I'm going to do is go back, redo this so I can actually do some commentary as I'm playing. That's why when I go into play, you'll see this file actually already has a little bit of stuff on it. 3 nights. So what we're going to do this file. We'll do at least 3 nights and do some commentary. So here's what's going to happen as far as these playthroughs go. Most of what I do in the hub area, okay, well, let's back up and actually introduce you. If you've never played Hades before, the cool thing about this series is that it is a roguelike. So every time you die, you go back to the starting area, but you have some resources that you've gained in your previous run to upgrade. Now, I really loved Hades 1. And Hades 2, I'm assuming, and I know a little bit from what little bit I have played, has a pretty similar style. So every time you die, you go back to a hub area, and you can use some of the resources that you gathered to upgrade some of your items, buy new items, do all sorts of stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is, in general, I'm going to cut out as much of the story content as I can. The one thing I'm not going to cut out that might give some minor spoilers is the introduction to each of the gods when you're picking up boons. Just because the number one pop up at random, kind of, in terms of what sort of cinematics you actually see, and that's a lot of small work. And realistically, those story bits are kind of extra anyway. But the main ones that happen in the hub, most of the time what's going to happen is when I die, go back, I'm going to sort of skip the recording to the point where I'm actually staging for the next run through. There's 1 or 2 specific things that I may show myself upgrading, just because those are common mechanics. They're similar to like the Black Mirror from the first game, and you can also do some minor work with your weapons. So those things I may show, but I'm not going to show any interactions with any of the NPCs in the hub. So that stuff will get cut out. Any cinematics where bosses are talking to me at the beginning of boss fights, I'm going to skip past those. Granted, for some people, the bosses themselves are spoilers, but if you're watching a playthrough, I'm assuming you just don't care about seeing at least that portion of it. But I will try to get rid of as many cinematics as possible. So, with that said, let's start us a new slot and kick in. By the way, there is a thing in the settings where you can go in and turn on God mode. I'm halfway tempted to turn it on just to potentially give myself a little bit more longevity in terms of potential things that I can actually do in the game, like a repeat run without using God mode at all. But I think for the sake of making YouTube videos just a little bit easier, and given how almost limitless of a well this will be to kind of tap into, there's not a whole lot of point. So the first time you load in, you start with just the staff, and you more or less get to jump straight into a run. That gives you a moment to actually play around and see what all your moves are. So you have a dodge, the cast, which is your magic, sort of strong attack, so ranged, and then more of the melee hit. You can charge up any of them. They're called Omega moves, and the Omega moves drain MP. So there's our basics. Oh, that's the cast. This is just ranged, but there's your cast attack, and this basically drops a slow. So let's get started. I appreciate that they actually kept the art style from the original game, because one of the things that actually made me kind of question the original, I didn't know how much I would actually like the somewhat cartoonish art style, and it actually got really charming over time. Now, with games like this, they don't really intend for you to beat them on the first run, which is why when you see people pop up with like first time wins, oh, okay, let's pause the conversation, talk about the boons. So what do we have available to us? Attacks deal more damage, sprint will inflict daze on surrounding foes, And whenever you cast, expires, restores magic. That's actually pretty significant. Actually, let's try this because I haven't really been using magic in the other run because I didn't have a good way to restore it. So let's see how that goes. Might be worthwhile to do now. Of course, might also end out luring me into a sense of false comfort and causing me to get killed. Wouldn't that be about right? I know I'm not really supposed to beat the game on this first run. That doesn't mean that I don't want to try. What's this? So, ashes. Alright, cool. Yeah, I know what we use ashes for, but instead of saying it outright, I'll wait till we get there. So, by the way, what this mechanic is, in Hades, you're generally given branching paths, and each path will give you different rewards, and you give little symbols that tell you what the rewards potentially can be. Ooh, backed myself into a corner, and almost completely f***ed myself into death. I should probably avoid cursing on this, because YouTube doesn't really like that, apparently. Ah, well. I'll just drop the sound down for a second on that one. Yeah, epic. Actually, I don't know which one I like better. Let's go with this one because I need some sort of debuff going. And more ashes, or let's do ashes again. I think they're a little bit of a better resource early on. I could be totally wrong on that. I don't really know much about the game. This is one of the handful of games that I've actually been trying to avoid the spoilers for. Woo. Those guys suck. Alright, well, not doing as well as I did in my first run. I guess that serves me right. And let's try to get some health. This room won't heal me. It'll just, shit. Well, it wouldn't heal me. It would have just given me some extra life. Alright, so I guess technically on this file, that's the first death. And just in case I decide to stick with this file instead of switching back to the other one, I gotta run around and talk to everyone. But you guys won't hear any of this because this is the part where I will be skipping forward after this, so I can... Alright, now this is the part where I'll actually cut the video back in. Because the Arcana is actually a pretty important aspect for different builds. Restore health. Damage. Actually, I think how many ashes do I have? Yeah, we'll see. I want that one. See if I can get that one. Yep. Don't have 15. Don't have 10. Don't have 15. Don't know what those are. Okay. That's fine. That's a good starting one. So, health on location change. Faster cast speed for the Omega attacks. And 20% more damage to my foes that are in the cast. So basically a debuff. Alright. That's fine. Those are good. And there's probably a conversation or two here that I will cut out. Time for a run.
Find the Titan, slay the Titan.
Now, let's see what we can do with this one. Let's see if we can manage to make it to the first boss.
Headmistress told me so much about you.
Artemis or Demeter? Yeah, there we go.
Grandmother.
That's pretty good. Let's just do this one. By the way, when you see an enemy that has a yellow health bar, also there's gatherable items. When you see an enemy with a yellow health bar, what that means is they have a shield.
He'll be judged soon enough.
And the yellow health bar means they cannot currently be stunned. So you can chain attack them all you want, but they're not going to do anything in terms of like pausing. Like those guys don't move while I'm beating on them because they don't have that shield. But when they are shielded, they can continue and get their casts off, which makes them really dangerous. So you need to do things like drop the cast to put down pretty much a snare area. Let's see, do we want another Demeter one, or do we want to get this, which is the fire? Let's go with Demeter again. She's got some pretty good stuff. And we'll see if we can't build up a few things pretty early. I'll hand it to them. They're pretty good about slowly escalating the difficulty in the game. They were good with that with the first game. Like, Binding of Isaac is an excellent roguelike. Really, if it weren't for it, this type of game would not be nearly as popular. Alright, let's look and see what we got. Specials, deal more damage and inflict freeze. If you clear enough encounters, a random boon you have gains rarity. That's pretty good, but I'm not at the point yet where I will be regularly clearing encounters. Creates a gust. Let's do that one, because I like to do square square triangle as a combo. Alright. And different boon or health. Boon or health. Boon or health. Let's go with health. I know I should probably be building up boons early on. Oh, this is what I was talking about. Those guys suck dick. See, it's got a significant range on it. Their attack sucks. It just hits from so far out. I know I need ashes to get Arcana, but I also need to start getting some bones. So let's try that. God. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, these dudes aren't bad. Freeze is really useful. Whoop. Demeter's becoming a ooh pomegranate. So upgrade or merchant. I don't have hardly any gold. So we're going to go with upgrading a boon. We'll probably upgrade the melee attack. Damn. I really I kind of shit the bed on that. I was in a bad position. Shouldn't have been standing right there in the middle of that group. Don't know what possessed me. One thing I'm going to have to get used to is in this one, you don't have up to 3 dashes. Really enjoyed the dashes in the first game. So attack. So let's go with attack.
These still grow in the underworld.
Poseidon can get me a metric ton of resources. By the way, I always look around because sometimes there'll be an exit that you didn't really see. Like, there are occasions where you have more than 2. There's also occasions where you only have 1. Let's see what... Oh, shit. This thing sucks. And that's why. Because... Alright, good. Now we can stun her. Stun lock. Good, there we go. By the way, probably would have been smarter to just kill the boss rather than focus on the little twiggy things, because what they seem to do is they're the things that let her summon up that snare. That snare is really not that hard to miss.
Then help him.
Yeah, so let's see what Poseidon's going to give us. Alright. debuff. Oh, that is tempting because I really don't expect to be successful in this run, but that might enable me to kill the boss, but I'm also low on health. I think I'm going to be greedy and get resources. Let's see what this is.
Restless shades of Erebus find little peace there.
Am I fighting the spirits or the woods?
Okay. We'll get some health. These things are deceptive. They aren't that dangerous on their own, but where they spin around, you get a bunch of them grouped up that you're not taking care of, and they will make it basically impossible for you to dodge. Thought I'd screwed up. Use Max Life, look around, make sure there's nothing that we need to be picking up. Early game like this, you really want to focus on being sure that you're actually picking up resources. So, bones or ashes. Let's get some more bones, because I'm pretty sure I need them in the short term more than I do with the expanded Arcana. Nah, granted, the Arcana is what's really sort of the make or break for builds. As long as those Banshee things don't have shields, they're okay. The shielded ones suck. Now, the one thing that I did learn in the first game is you really don't want to plant yourself. You kind of want to be moving around at least decently regularly, because it can be a bit of a challenge to be sure that you're not getting hit if you're not moving around. Granted, you can stumble your way into issues doing that as well, but from my experience, not nearly as many issues as when you just stand still and kind of take it. See, a lot of the enemies aren't very good at tracking your movement. So if you're moving, they're way less likely to successfully hit you. Which is also one of the reasons why I like this a little bit more than I do Binding of Isaac, because you don't get stuck in place. And we're going to get this. These are how you build up friendship with NPCs, and building that gauge up is what lets you get the keepsakes that give you extra passives when you're doing runs. So, like, you can get free Death Defiance, you can get all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, let's get rid of the casters first. Like, it's not really nearly as big of a deal as casters are in this game. Uh-oh. That was a bad idea. I stood still way too long. Nectar and go to the shop. Hey, Chiron. Or Charon. Sharon. However it's said. That's the boss door, so since we're still trying to beat the first boss, we're going to get everything that we can. Ooh. Oh, it's only 5%, so we're going to go with this. Get us a little bit more health to try to boost it up. I guess we might as well get that too, because we'll try to use some of those attacks against her. And let's talk to Sharon. Or Karen. Oh, he's a Karen. That's unfortunate. Alright. Let's try this. And I'll be skipping this opening dialogue. Alright, so sorry, not really talking a whole lot during this, kind of focused. And let's kill us some summoned in enemies. That way this will stop. I think that's what it's tied to at least. Oh. Okay, so that was the real one. Oop. Whoops. That's not good. Yeah. Okay, let's see what this. Ooh, whoa. Oh no. I have no idea how to get out of this. Oh, okay. I didn't even realize I was out of it. I was just still thinking to myself that I was running around as a sheep. Ooh, that's a good attack. Come on. No. Okay. Gotta love the grunt of concentration. Shit. Ah, well, it was close. And yeah, that looked pretty good for a second run, which is really a fifth run. So let's not be too impressed. All right, so I'll go through, talk to everyone, and skip us up to the point where we're getting ready for the last run of the evening. All right, so this is where we'll pick back up. Show that at this point I've also unlocked the gathering tools. And the gathering tools, you select those at the same time that you select your weapons. Of course, your weapons are around the edge. And you use this little area in the middle to pick out what weapon you want. And they each have a different resource cost to craft. The easiest one, the one that is probably just going to hand me the stuff to make, is the Sister Blades. But for the crafting tools, you need very similar resources. Whichever one you equip will basically let you gather a very specific resource. So Crescent Pick is the first one you get, and it's silver, which is the reason why silver is also tied to unlocking a whole lot of other stuff. And I've got a keepsake. You may not want to read the description of it if you don't really want to see what's going on. But that first one that I've unlocked is basically a free Death's Defiance. And if you've played the first game, you know what that is. So now let's spend some ashes if we have enough. We don't have enough. I spent too many at the other place. Although I guess I could go buy some. We'll just keep farming up resources for now. All right, let's do one more run, and then we'll call it for the night. So let's see if we can manage to kill Hecata on this one.
There's some more silver I can use.
We got 3 pieces. That'll give us enough to unlock a weapon.
Fire goddess never got involved.
Hestia, new one for this. Scourge, inflict foes take 100 damage accrued from this every 1 second. So, yeah, let's just do this. I'm not really too big on doing the magic attacks yet, so I'm not going to worry about building up magic restoration. I'm sure that's a mistake in the early game, that I should really be getting used to using the Omega attacks and making builds to utilize them. But I don't really like the charge mechanic for that. I actually much prefer faster attack styles, so the charge just kind of goes against my nature in terms of what I enjoy doing when fighting, and I about missed that. to pay more attention for resources. I don't have. Well, I have one boon. I want a boon or gold or upgrade. Let's just go with gold. That way I can maybe buy another boon if I need it. Alright. Gold. Again, first couple rooms, not really a big deal. We'll grab some ashes. That way we can work on expanding the arcana. Ooh. Yeah, I don't... well, there's a good example of what happens when you try to attack an enemy that has a shield that you've not taken care of. Alright. Wonder if we'll get a special encounter in this one. And while I could use the health, let's try to get us a boon. Sometimes the best defense is good offense, said the guy that getting ready to fail a run because he didn't take enough defense. One thing to remember with this game, you can actually get damage in while the things are spawning in, so you don't have to wait for them to completely spawn. There's a certain point in the spawn animation where they actually start taking damage. So if you just pick the closest one, aim at it, and start attacking, you'll generally get some damage in. Alright, what's this? First time scorch damage is increased, but that's the only one that really seemed appealing out of that selection. The others just seemed a little bit too up in the air. Now, she had a good debuff in the last one, so let's go see what the demonetization god looks like. Oh, fuck. That's... This will probably kill me this time. Never mind. Wow. Almost, but not quite. And the demonetization goddess. Although, I'm not monetized anyway at the moment, so what's it matter? Cast Inflict Weak. Automatically inflict weak on nearby foes and that I can't imagine a situation where you wouldn't take that over any of the other ways of applying weak. How nearby? Let's just see it, because the question is, how nearby do they have to be? If they don't have to be that nearby, like if you don't have to be sitting right on top of them, seems like a no-brainer unless you just have focused on building up range. No, they don't have to be that near. Huh. Well, if I can start regenerating some health, this is going to be a pretty good build. Yeah, let's try that one, cause okay. And it's Karen, or I need health. Okay. So my damage, if you haven't noticed, has significantly went up. Just looking around to make sure. I've probably just walked off from like a million things at this point. That's the only thing I don't like about their being gathering in this one. Is that I probably just wandered away from several gathering points. And starting to kind of do the focus thing at this point. Oh, no, bad idea. Matches. Yeah, I know I really need some gold, but chance to upgrade that aura seems like a good idea. And a whole bunch of casters. Casters are always what you are supposed to focus in this game because no matter where they're at, they can mess you up. So that would boost that first hit damage. That would boost scorch damage in general. Yeah, let's just do that one instead. Ooh. This could be a game changer. If I can successfully get it. Okay.
Daedalus hammer.
It's a little surprising. A whole bunch of those guys are terrible. So Daedalus hammers fundamentally alter your builds. Okay, see, yeah, that I think basically lets us combine it with the weak aura. So weak will give us a boost when they're close, and that will give us a boost when they're distant. So that should give us a boost just all around. So we've got enough to get that and the palm. So that's what we'll do. And get that. That one. And
Yes, my lord. I met Apollo, Grandmother, Uncle Poseidon. I've known Artemis and Hermes for so.
okay. Let's try the boss again. See how this goes. See how fast we go into the fight this time. Uh-oh. And of course, I'm not doing very well. That was about a mistake. Second transition, and I don't think... shit. Ugh. This sucks. I wonder if you can actually avoid that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Skelly's Tooth. Hey, maybe I can beat this one. Where's she at? Maybe getting a little bit reckless here. Ah, yes. Okay, so this is now the main file.
Thank you, Headmistress.
Oh, fantastic. So, yeah, now this is the main file now. I'll turn on God mode in the other file and maybe stream it or do something with it just to show the difference between the two. But here we go. Let's check out new biome. First time here, so you actually do get some first impressions on this. By the way, I'm really enjoying this. I actually don't think it's a bad game. I think it's very good. I don't know that the characters are as charming as like Zagreus was and Dusa and all that so far. But there's a long ways to go before I'm even close to being finished with it, so we'll see. They could grow on me. The gameplay is fantastic, though. It feels just like the first game in terms of the general feel. Like, obviously it's not the same. Whoop, let's see what happens. Like I said, it's not the first game. It does feel a little different. This feels very similar to one of the weapons in the first one. I just can't quite place my finger on which one. But the overall combat flow feels similar. So it's nice.
Blackest pits of Oceanus reside horrors that the greatest mortal.
I'll find a way.
All right, let's see what this biome is like. And if it's going to stomp me to the point where I just have to kind of reset. Whoop. Still doing decent damage, but I wonder if it being a water biome is going to make the fire attacks less useful or more useful. I mean, okay, so remember the little things that look like pufferfish explode. Yeah, this seems like something where Poseidon would be a bad guy rather than a good guy. This little narrow area right here will be a nightmare if you had a whole bunch of shielded enemies. Oh, that's why it was popping up the proceed animation. Health, palm. Let's go with palm. Shellbacks, that sounds like a slur for some reason. Woo! I guess they regenerate until you destroy their shell. Or I just didn't notice them spawning in. Probably that. Probably I just didn't notice them spawning in. Seems way more likely. And only 2% increase that time, so not quite as good. Let's do that one. Double check over here, make sure we're not missing out on anything. It'd be nice to find some more silver instead of it being just a like once per run thing. We only have 174 gold, so let's not go to Charon yet. Did she say hippos? Or hypnos? By the way, the music in these games is one of my favorite things of this whole series. Darren Korb, or however you say his name, fantastic. Hades 1 actually works its way through my rotation quite often. Poseidon. This could have been a bad choice. Ooh. Yeah. Might have been a mistake to pick even a pseudo boss fight at this point. Oh yeah, I have this thing. Whoop. Not as bad now if there's not a million jellyfish around. Ah, okay. No shield, and we win. With an excellent soundtrack in the background.
Why, you still got your looks? Not like Aphrodite here is gonna let you hold to them forever. She doesn't care for
Whatever do you mean?
Ooh, have we got a duo boon?
Who even needs them? But on the other,
Ooh, while foes are weak, any scorch they have does not diminish and it deals damage. That's pretty cool. Yeah, let's get a duo boon. Duo boons are always worthwhile to pick up to at least see how they do. Let's get some more ashes. Oh, pick this real quick. That way if we die, it's not the end of the world. I need to remember to drop my slow pull at least. What the f is going on? Why there are a million of them summoning? Okay. Too bad we're not getting any sort of decently regular recovery. What is this? Ooh. That's interesting. It must be new to this one. Don't like a choice? Or if you don't like the only choice you're presented with, which happens to be the one I decided to go with, unseal the other one. See what you get. Woohoo! I'm probably going to die shortly. 7 health is not something that I'm going to be able to sustain for very long, especially with so many environmental hazards popping up. Wonder if I can... Yep. Okay, so... let's try at least to extend the run a little bit. Nope. Well, it was worth a shot.
death to Kronos.
Alright, so that's going to be it for runs for tonight. I'm going to go through upgrades and things, open up a weapon, and get everything prepped for the next run. But that'll be it for tonight's run. Pretty good progress. So, summarize my thoughts and what my true initial impressions are. Obviously, I like the game. I wouldn't have went back and re-recorded this if I didn't actually think it was a good game. It plays really well. If you enjoyed Hades 1, you will enjoy the gameplay in this. Story, I'm finding it interesting so far. I've seen some people criticize it, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's bad. I think they're still doing a very good job telling the story. I do think Zagreus was probably a little bit more charming right out the gate, but she's not Zagreus, and I'm not going to sit here and make the comparisons between the two throughout the entire game. I'm just going to take it for what it is and say that I do enjoy it. I think she's at least piqued my interest a bit. For anyone curious where his sister was in the first game, she didn't exist. That's about all I'm going to say in case you haven't played the first game, but she wasn't around yet. And it makes sense within the story of the first game. But yeah, no, it's enjoyable. I'll continue to play it. Hell, I might actually live stream this sometimes, but we'll see. Anyway, remember everyone, if I can beat it, so can you. Have a good night.